Okay, setting up proper motivation with 3 points: refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. For the refuge field, let us visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings who you see as source of inspiration for compassion, infinite compassion, and for the wisdom to see the reality as it is. And how you visualize them, that they are so loving, caring, and embracing, and particularly to you, and likewise to all other dear sentient beings. Bodhicitta field, visualize your two grandparents and all your family members and all other dear sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, Gandharvas, all around here in Thosamling, in India, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. All the creatures in the ocean, the millions and trillions of creatures in the ocean, millions and trillions of the creatures in the forest, in the wilderness, and around you. And just imagine how you visualize them. Just imagine that you are like the mother, extremely loving, caring, sensible mother, and all others are like your own children. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken this Buddha nature within you. This is the perfection within you. The great treasure, the most important treasure that exists in this universe. Though it is there, it's not visible for the reason that it is obscured by the mental defilements, like the gold when mixed with the mud. Though the gold is there, it's not visible, not because of the absence of the gold, because of the defilements or the obscurations. To remove these mental defilements, we need to know the nature of the mental defilements in order that the Buddha energy inside us becomes awakened fully. And these defilements are of two kinds, gross and subtle. The gross one referred to as the afflictive obscurations, the presence of which stops us from attaining fearlessness, total fearlessness, or technically referred to as nirvana. And this gross one is constituted of contaminated karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds. And all these three boil down to the self-grasping ignorance. Well, that is the main thing, but that must be complemented by self-centered attitude to let its offshoots manifest, such as the gross afflictions and the contaminated karmas, negative karmas. And the subtle one, the subtle stains like the smell of the garlic, like metal stains, these are referred to as the cognitive obscurations. The presence of this stops us from attaining infinite happiness, also referred to as the Buddhahood. And given that all these mental defilements somehow they are related to this ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, either the offshoots of this ignorance or the subtle stains, the remedy remains the wisdom of emptiness, the counterforce. And this wisdom of emptiness, it must reach to the highest level of its maturation, that is the non-dual wisdom of emptiness. To reach to that level, we must have the meditative experience on the conceptual level of the emptiness. To reach to that level, we must have the conviction gained, which is referred to as the wisdom derived through reflection. And to reach to that level, we must need to have a prior extensive information, knowledge about this wisdom. For this we require the wisdom derived through studies, wisdom derived through learning. So the 7-day program is just for that purpose, to enrich the wisdom derived through learning. So with this in mind, what the purpose is, to awaken this Bodhicitta, the seed of perfection within us, we try to resort to the remedies. And this remedy is the wisdom of emptiness, and driven by very powerful enthusiasm of Bodhicitta. And this Bodhicitta must rest on the renunciation, wishing to be freed from the afflictive obscurations, or wishing to attain the fearlessness. Without this, you cannot expand this to other sentient beings, wishing to become Buddha for the benefit of ultimate sentient beings. With this motivation, imagine that you are leading this practice, and all beings are joining you with great enthusiasm and the rigor. Page 3. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye Joda Zoge Chonam Lai Chanjo Bardo Dane Yabzo Che Dage Jinso Gebe Tsonam Ye Chola Benjire Sanye Dubare Sho Sanye Joda Zoge Chonam Lai Chanjo Bardo Dane Yabzo Che Dage Jinso Gebe Tsonam Ye Chola Benjire Sanye Dubare Sho Sanye Joda Zoge Chonam Lai Chanjo Bardo Dane Yabzo Che Dage Jinso Gebe Tsonam Ye Chola Benjire Sanye Dubare Sho. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, nor rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers in pacification of complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths of those goals achieve the aims of the world, and miraculous teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated participants to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who govern and protect her to your my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations, that is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha my prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tejam Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Yetarama Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, non-composite. Such is nectar that Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence is our returning words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unseasoned, has the nature of space. Is the audio apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times obeisance. The 4 seals of Buddhist teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, until the end of the expansive billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove the miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred with them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. But I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Again, a reminder as you recite these the lines, and these are where the qualities of the Buddha are indicated. And see if you have some of these qualities within you. If you do have, rejoice. And see how to nurture them further. Whereas if you don't have these, knowing that you have these seeds, everyone has these seeds, see how to nurture them, how to cultivate them and nurture them. To the founder, the endowed and transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened one, being and good conduct, Sugata, Lord of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completed and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, glorious conqueror, subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With the pure body is formed supremely pure, wisdom motion like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, you know the best Lord to you are prostrate. With the supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold to you are prostrate. Justly like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one to you are prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you that the Tathagata prostrate. The purity that frees one from the attachment, the virtue that frees one from the low realms, the one heart, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies and prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path of liberation. The holy feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, but from all imperfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, water bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, seed, conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of falsity, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Heart Sutra, page 29. Let's remember the 3 points here. 1 was a question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokteshvara. Was a response given by Aravalokteshvara pertaining to emptiness, how everything is like a dream, how everything is the projection of one's own mind. Of course, it's not that easy. For this reason that we are here together to study more. And then the point number 3. What's the point number 3? Yes, what's the benefit? If you practice to see everything like a dream, like your own projection of your own mind, what's the benefit where all your fears dissolve? You see that you go towards what is known as fearlessness and infinite happiness. And that this entrance of the wisdom of emptiness to go to the fearlessness and infinite happiness is the entrance, is the only entrance which all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they have to enter. Okay. I prostrate to the Tribhujan. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on a mass of Vajra's mountain in Rajgriha, together with the At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara put upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the word of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharitvati Putra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to professional form is empty, emptiness of form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseen, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of the path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in 3 times also manifested complete awakened to unsurpassable perfect complete enlightenment in reliance on the professional wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the professional wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to non-equal, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the professional wisdom is declared Dya Tha Om Vedic. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from the concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound professional wisdom just as you've indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvadiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokteshvara, who was surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. As we recite this mantra, imagine that you are in Rajgir, the vulture's peak, where this hardsword actually happened. The dialogue between Aravalokteshvara and Shariputra, where the Buddhist argument presided over. Buddha blessed both of them, Aravalokteshvara and Shariputra, to ask question and respond. And then mentioned that the Buddha is exhorting thus, don't remain in the fields of samsara, come to his ultimate happiness. And you hearing what the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Imagine that you inform this to all your dear sentient beings. Look, this is what a compassionate Buddha is telling us. Let us not remain fierce and sorry anymore. Let us all go towards the ultimate happiness by unraveling the true nature of your Buddha nature within us. So everybody, all the sentient beings hearing what he's saying, they're so inspired, and they join you in this journey of cleansing the mind to unravel this hidden treasure within you. Deata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate 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 Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata. By the teachings of the Three Supreme Jewels possessing power of truth, may any and all the hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verses for training the mind, page 35. Let's not forget to make distinction between self-confidence and ego. So our job is to not to see these two as synonymous. How we demarcate between the evolved beings, so noble beings and ordinary beings. Ordinary beings, the mark of somebody as being ordinary is that as the ego subsides, self-confidence also goes down. When you boost self-confidence, ego also comes up. This is a mark of being ordinary. Now, if you do belong to this category, even that is dependent originated. It is not that it's fixed. It's not intrinsically there within you, that you can change it. And which means this is how, as you make this the difference between the ego and the self-confidence, the gap between the two more and more, you boost the self-confidence but subdue the ego. The more you succeed in this, more happy you are. This is a journey of the spirituality, to move from the state of unhappiness to the happiness. So why usually we are not happy is because that we feel so subjugated, we feel suppressed, we feel hopeless. It's because of lack of confidence. and why we feel so agitated because of the ego, generally speaking. So, if you remove the ego, all the agitation subside. If you increase the self-confidence, the joy increases, confidence, and the ability that you can do something you are, the face, a sense of the worth comes to you. So that's the whole purpose, to make the gap in the two bigger and bigger, so that the ego is subsided altogether and the confidence is boosted to the greatest height. 8 verses of trained mind by Geshe Thamba. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling germ, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as I may assume I confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, splendor, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the eight mundane concerns, and may I recognize in all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my two collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort as practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, 7 in practice. I bow down to the youthful Adam and Yushri. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, born to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with bodies, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect. To all you Buddhas, visualize as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas, numberless particles. Each of them is a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspect of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugandhas. Beautiful flowers and regal gardens, sweet music and scented walls and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense are offered to the tourist ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood, all modest offerings in spectacular array offered to you, the tourist ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all the victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all this I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart to rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions. How solid to realize that here are still training in those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you are my guides, please turn the supreme will of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, whatever slight merit may be accumulated by making prostration, offerings, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. With a mental offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings attain the pure land. O Sangye Shendo Mede Bhaye Togu Namda Shela Chabarai Sho. The four Dhammas of Venerable Gambaba. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance that grasps the true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as vicious and repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Rana Mandela Nirate. Amen. Okay, the foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa, the roadmap to enlightenment. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and a perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful, abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great question arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimosha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into sea of samsara, so fall other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility to free migratory beings. Even if developed bodhicitta, but I don't practice it the 3 times of morality, and not achieve enlightenment. Please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distraction to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate purity within my mind stream, the unified part of Karma abiding especially inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gate of the fortunate ones, the supreme version of ego. At that time, the base accomplishing their true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges of my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed noble path and the spiritual friends who practice their long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all of the inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the manifested Dharma, by completing the qualities of the stages in the past, may could attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, mix one mantra. Yoravalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Rajapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages land of snows, love some top at your feet and make prostrations. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Songaba, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, those on top by your feet and make prostrations. Okay, generating the amount of consumed yoga. For this, we do 4 practices. 1, the single point meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. And then we take the expression Bodhisattva vow. Hopefully we can take the vow today. And taking the Bodhisattva vow, it has no commitment at all. It's just that at most, if at all, this commitment is that from today onwards, I'll try to be kind towards others. And if not, at least I'll not harm others. So this much, if you can be committed, we're entitled to take this aspect Bodhisattva vow. And it's not that you should be a Buddhist, it's not necessary. Anybody can take this just to become a better person, to become somebody who doesn't create problem in a family, who doesn't create problem in a community. In fact, who only renders service, renders warmth, embrace others with love and affection, who is there to dissolve the problems of others, dissolve the potential conflicts in the community, in your family. So this is what is the expected. If you admire this principle, that this is a good idea, then you're entitled to take this expression Bodhisattva vow. Okay. For this, the first single point meditation, we are doing something very simple, and if you can do it consistently, this would be extremely helpful to channelize your mind. That your mind going haywire, it will be channelized, and in whatever direction that you want to focus your mind, it will be very obedient to you. This is one. Next, what is that next? Renunciation. So renunciation, in fact, there are the different ways. For example, like not different ways, different versions. The main body of the practice remains the same, but they say how that is fine-tuned can differ from one tradition to the other. But finally, what is required is that the desire to leave your self-grasping ignorance, the desire to leave samsara. Everybody will say, yes, I want to leave samsara. Yes. But who's going to say that I want to leave, I want to leave myself, I'm fed up with my self-grasping ignorance, right? That is very difficult. If you can say this, then a genuine renunciation is born in you. Whereas if you say that, oh, I want to really leave samsara is terrible, it simply means the manifest suffering, complications of family, which you might be the one creating this complication, right? And you leave, and the family may be more peace, right? Okay, so the point is that if you say that, oh, I want to leave samsara, this is the renunciation, we are not too sure it's a real renunciation. Whereas if you say that, I want to leave this self-grasping ignorance, I'm fed up with this, I want to leave it, that's a real understanding of renunciation. Till you have this, if this does not come to you, it's not a genuine renunciation. Okay, so for that matter, whatever tradition that you follow, Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelu, whatever tradition that you follow, at the end of the day, if you are able to generate this feeling that this self-grasping, how I'm projecting things object real, that's the one which creates problem in me. That's the one what attracts all the fears in my life, anxiety, stress, and so forth. If you discover that, that is a mark of your success. Whatever tradition that you follow is fine. You're following the Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelu, Goenkaji's tradition, Theravada tradition, Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition, it doesn't matter. It's fine. As long as this is not happening, the foundation is lost. Okay. So, what we do is that instead of following a very specific tradition, Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelu, Theravada, or this, we just follow the Buddha's own direct tradition. That is the Four Seals, which the Buddha himself taught very clearly. We just follow that. And it doesn't mean that we are being disrespectful to these different traditions. These different traditions, we learn them. From this, we learn them how to reinforce our understanding, the practice of the renunciation on the basis of the Buddha's own teachings, Four Seals. Next, the Bodhicitta. For the Bodhicitta, of course, the 7-day retreat, we are going to learn how to practice the Bodhicitta in a very systematic way. The two methods, the sevenfold cause-effect method to generate Bodhicitta and the method of equalizing exchanges of others. These two methods we're going to learn in great detail in these 7 days. Yes, we are a little ambitious. The two methods of Bodhicitta in great detail, and also emptiness. We try to study and also trying to cover some other important topics as well. So, but here in the group, usually what we do is that we do instead of the two methods, we do the 4 vegetables, because the two methods take a lot of time. And whereas you do it on your own, by yourself, in your room, then you can, manage your time. Whereas in group, we cannot manage time. Either there must be some uniform flow there, which requires a lot of time. Once in a while, when the retreat is like 10 days, or 12 days, or earlier, the 15 days, then we have so much time. We do the group meditation on the two methods. Okay, so we do it that in the form of the 4 vegetables. And then at the end of this practice of 4 vegetables, we take rest. We say the gem, the Bodhicitta, may I become Buddha for sentient beings. Once done, then the next one is the wisdom of emptiness. So today I don't know, because we are yet to explain what the wisdom of emptiness is. Okay, I'll just say something which is relevant, but may not go into too detail of the wisdom of emptiness. And then we take the Bodhisattva vow. Not the full-fledged Bodhisattva vow. Bodhisattva vow, there are 2 kinds. One is the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, which we're taking, and the other one is engaged Bodhisattva vow. To take the engaged Bodhisattva vow, that requires a great deal of commitment. And first of all, you should have some experience of bodhicitta, although it may not be full-fledged bodhicitta, but at least some experience of bodhicitta, where, and say, you making distinction between your near and dear ones and the neutral person and the difficult person. This distinction must become smaller, and then that natural flow of compassion should happen to all the beings. Even if somebody's right there who's so nasty, deep inside your compassion flow. Only then you are entitled to take the actual Bodhisattva vow, otherwise not. Because it's a huge responsibility. I'm going to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, and there are like 18 infractions to God. So these are things that we need to keep in mind. But what we're doing here is not the actual Bodhisattva vow. We are taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Okay, good. Now for the single point of meditation, I'm not going to give you any more instructions. Let's straight away go to do the 5 minutes. Ready? Okay. Okay, next we move to the renunciation. And what is expected is that maybe after 2 days, instead of doing the guided meditation, the renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, all three will be done in the form of a guided meditation. And today, tomorrow, we'll do that guided. And of course, this is all analytical meditation, except for the first one. They're all analytical meditation. And for today and tomorrow, I'll give the instruction. We could do the guided meditation pertaining to the renunciation. Then from third day, we will do that without being guided. So I just cite each of the seals, and then you try to follow the instructions. For that, not the instructions, just follow that, do your own little meditation. So for that, you need to be little on the attentive of what is being said now. When I'm saying the instructions, don't think that, okay, I'm just flowing with what he's saying. You should remember what is being said, so that after 2 days, you should be able to do that on your own. And then the Bodhicitta part, the 4 immeasurables, that's easier. And then the emptiness part, yes. First, we should be given some instructions. What is emptiness? How to meditate on this? And maybe on the last day, we will try to do that on our own. Ready? Okay, the renunciation on the basis of the 4 seals. And every instruction given, just make sure that, see if you can register what is being said, rather than just letting your mind flow in it. Okay, renunciation. What does it mean by renunciation? It is to renounce your miseries. It is not to renounce your happiness. But to renounce the miseries, we need to learn how to renounce the causes of miseries. When the manner in which the Buddha indicated, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. These phenomena arise from the causes. Until we deal with the causes, we cannot have a lasting solution to get rid of the miseries. What are the causes? And the Buddha identified ignorance as the ultimate cause. Of course, there are many causes there. The contaminant karmas, the gross afflictions, the inappropriate attention, and the self-grasping ignorance. In the ultimate sense, the Buddha identified the ignorance as the root of all the miseries. What kind of ignorance? There are so many layers, so many kinds of ignorance. Buddha identified 4. Misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Misconceiving suffering nature as happiness. Misconceiving impure phenomena as pure. And misconceiving what is selfish nature as of self-hurt. To remove these, to eradicate these 4 misconceptions or ignorance, the Buddha taught the 4 seals. The first seal, all contaminated, all composite things are impermanent, or all compounded things are impermanent. Compounded things which are compounded, things which are constituted of the material parts and temporal parts. All these impermanent phenomena, which also refer to as composite phenomena, they are the nature of the transitoriness, impermanence. And this impermanence is of 2 kinds, gross and subtle. We must reflect on the gross one in order to appreciate the depth of the subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence will give us an initial experience of the sense of urgency. And the subtle impermanence will give you an extremely stable understanding of the renunciation, a stable understanding of the emergent sense of urgency there, emergency that we live in. And this gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomenon whose continuum comes to an end, like your youth and the beautiful days before the COVID-19 and the birthday celebrations, the beautiful sunset, the waves, very smooth waves flowing on the ocean. Just imagine the people 200 years ago. This world was again lived in by people who now no more exist, but they were the same age as yours, some younger, some older, many of them your same age. They also had dreams in their mind, have expectations. The parents have so much expectation on the children, and children also likewise have so much expectation in their lives. Whether these expectations are fulfilled or not fulfilled, they're all gone now. This is impermanent. And these are the unfortunate people. We are the very fortunate people we are still alive. No, we are just saying 200 years later in the future, no doubt there's going to be perhaps like 10 billion human beings. Today, almost hitting 8 billion human beings. After 200 years, perhaps 10 billion human beings or 15 billion human beings. So there, not even a single person out of the 8 billion human beings today will survive then. Everything will become a memory. Whether you have so much attention, stress, and so forth, within 10 years, 20 years, many of them will be gone. These tension, they're gone. They just become like a memory. And within 100 years, 150 years time, not even a single person today here will be remembered by those people then. Only few people will be remembered in the history of humanity. Just see how many remembered. Some are remembered for the incredible goodness, like Bodhicitta, Jesus Christ, and Baha'u'llah, Mother Teresa, and so forth. And some are remembered for the being the nature of the tyranny, being the nature of because of being brutal nature. Otherwise, almost 99.9% of the people, they're all forgotten after 200 years. This impermanence, this reality. And to see that this impermanence, of course, is very scary to think of. Yes, and also it makes you feel a little sick. And this is reality. Unless we face the reality, unless we know what kind of illness that you're going through, you cannot go for the remedies. We cannot go for the antibiotics. We cannot go for the medication. So to go for the medication, you have to identify these illnesses. And these are illnesses that we are with. This is the reality of impermanence. And this impermanence is possible only if these changes are happening on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, millisecond by millisecond basis, nanosecond by nanosecond basis. And this is what the composite phenomena are. They are all marked by momentariness there, instantaneity, which involves with all the impermanent phenomena. This is reality. That instantaneity or the momentariness of all impermanent phenomena is known as the subtle impermanence. Reflecting on subtle impermanence, it gives us even deeper, more profound sense of urgency. That there's nothing really there to grab at, to see that this is what I like, this is what I don't like. It's just like very fast moving waves. A form disappeared, form disappeared, form disappeared. This is reality of impermanence. When I was 5, till 5, my very beautiful days of being with Mother, now they're all gone. Until I was in my 30s, my beautiful days with my dad is all gone now. And many of my very close friends, each one of us very close friends, near and dear ones, many of them are gone now. This is reality. This is all marked by the transitoriness, momentariness there. And this realizing that all the composite phenomena, they have the nature of momentariness, which means that we are, as well like we are moving in a very fast moving train. Our body is like a very fast moving train. Our mind is also a very fast moving train. The universe in which we live is also a very fast moving train. faster the train moves, more the fear that we have. If somebody were to throw us into the fast-moving train and not knowing who threw us is very scary. The faster the train moves, more the fear. Where is this train taking us? If the train, it depends on the driver. If the driver is your mother or the father, no doubt it will take you to a picnic spot. But unfortunately, in our case, the train driver, which is our mind, it is under the dictate of the two demons, self-grasping ignorance, self-centeredness, particularly the self-grasping ignorance as the contamination, worst of contaminations, mental contaminations. As long as we are under the sway of the worst of contaminations, we'll only experience pains, miseries. This is what the Buddha taught us, the second seal. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Suffering like what? We, in our own capacity, we have experienced what the suffering is like, except for some of the young ones. Most of us, we already had the experience of nightmares of life, the pain of losing near dear ones. One moment of such a pain is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of merriments, festivities, and birthday parties, engagements, wedding party. It's all so shallow, so meaningless, so gloomy in the eyes of experiencing one moment of such a tragic incident, like losing somebody who is so close to you. It simply shatters your whole life. This is the meaning of all contaminated things of suffering nature. Yes, that's very true. When will this stop? I'm so tired to go through this experience since many infinite lifetimes. And we are being deceived by the temporary chocolate, temporary happiness. The reality is that we are always under the grip of these very scary experiences. One moment of which simply makes the whole life shatter to pieces of hopelessness. Is there a way out? Yes, of course there's a way out. But if we lead a life the way we live now, when we go through such a desperate situation, we become so broken, shattered. The moment we get something, some few moments, fleeting moments of happiness, we forgot our past experience with the pains. That's how childish we are. So now we should be more matured in not forgetting the past experiences of the pains amidst you enjoying these fleeting moments of happiness. Just remember those pains. The wise people will tell of these pains. This is an anecdote a Buddha shared. 100 people were going for a picnic, and while reaching there at the bank of the river, only 3 people, they become so cautious. We have no time for picnicking. Look at this, the nature of the river is soon going to flood. We must try to escape this. And the rest of the 97 people, they said, you are spoiling our picnic. We came here for a picnic. So why are you spoiling a picnic? If you want to cross the river, cross it. But if you don't spoil a picnic, and the remaining 97 just enjoy the picnic. And the 3 of them struggled to cross the river. And they crossed in like half an hour time. The river flooded and all the remaining 97 people were killed. So this is how this is the analogy Buddha gave, that the majority of the people, they're like small children. They're simply engrossed, infatuated, trapped by this picnic, like these moments, the fleeting moments of happiness. The reality is very different. It can simply flood you into samsara with so much pain, with tears, endless tears. Okay, that's true. When will this come to an end? 2021 came to an end on its own. But your misery will never come to an end on its own. There are 3 kinds of impermanent phenomena. While we describe 2 kinds, there are also 3 kinds. One whose continuum invariably comes to an end, like your youth, like 2020, 2021, and so forth. And there's another class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never comes to an end, like your mind, your time, the time, in the reality of impermanence, and the self. They never come to an end. They forever goes like this, although they're impermanent in nature. There's third category of phenomena, which only by the concerted effort, the continuum will come to an end, without which it will never come to an end on its own. Your suffering, your anxiety, your contaminant karmas, your afflictions, your inappropriate attention, and finally, your self-grasping ignorance of sin-energy. They will never come to an end. They will continue to torture us until we put effort to bring an end to this. Okay, what kind of effort should be, or what kind of effort is required? The effort which is just that in opposition or counterforce to the root of the miseries. What's the root of miseries? Self-grasping ignorance. So the effort should be the wisdom to see the reality as empty of true existence. What is that wisdom? Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal, everything's nature, emptiness, selflessness. Okay, just imagine. We are not going to go into emptiness now, but just imagine that everything's like a dream. Just as when you think of the person who made you smile, just when you think about this mentally, it doesn't make you smile. Your mind is under total control. Your emotions do not stir you. You don't lose control of your mind. So this is when you realize that the person that I'm thinking is just the imagination. That's just coming from my mind, subjective. It's just the moment you realize that things are coming from your subject, your fears dissolve. Your mind is totally under your control. That's amazing. So, if that happens, it doesn't mean that all my miseries, they're also like dream, they're also subject to real. Yes, they're all empty of true existence. There's nothing there. It's like you wake up, you come to realize that all what happened in dream, they're all just your subjective, the imputation all coming from your mind. The moment you discover that they're all coming from your mind, all the fears that you had in the dream stops invariably. Okay, so if I discover that all my miseries, they are just projected from my mind, my fear dissolves. Yes, this is when all your fears are transcended. Your miseries, sorrows transcended. This is when you experience the absolute peace, transcendental peace, everlasting peace. This is nirvana. This is what the Buddha indicated as transcending sorrow is absolute peace, the fourth seal. Okay. So just generate very strong wish. May I experience this emptiness of objective existence where all my miseries dissolve. Just in this experience of the desire to experience this emptiness, where all my miseries dissolve, and then experience absolute peace. This aspiration is known as the renunciation. Okay, slowly come out before we proceed to Bodhicitta. Okay, for the Bodhicitta, we are doing the 4 measurables. Of the 4, because constraint of time, we'll do only the first 2 measurables. So that's going to begin like a guided meditation. What is expected is that you just follow the instructions. Follow the instructions. Don't try to compare, contrast, or correlate with what we did earlier, what you learned earlier from different teachers, different books, and so forth. You can correlate, you can compare, contrast. Later on, not now. Now, try as much to make the most of this moment together, to invoke the respective experiences to the best you can. And at times it can become very superficial. It doesn't matter. This is the only way how we practice it. This is meaning of the practicing music. Practice music. Initially, there's no music there. You're just mimicking what the teacher, what the buttons pressed by which your teacher asks you to press. You press it. That's it. and there's no music coming out. And gradually it becomes a real music. It's only through, this is the meaning of the practice, the training. So practice compassion likewise is no exception. That initially can be very superficial. Your mind may not resonate with the instructions given. This is how we have to practice. This may not practice. Eventually, it will become real. Okay, ready? Immeasurable compassion. And the order of the four immeasurables. Some people put immeasurable compassion first, followed by immeasurable loving kindness. There's no need to debate, argue. Just practice something. Some people, we don't practice at all and just debate. We should come first. In this text, the immeasurable compassion is taught first. In another text, the word immeasurable loving kindness is taught first. Which is one? Which is the correct one? Don't talk about the correct one, incorrect. Just practice it, and you will feel something. Okay, that is the purpose. You do whichever you do first is fine. Okay, so for the purpose of very specific, but before that, because that we are doing only the first two, we do the immeasurable compassion first for a purpose, and this purpose you'll come to know later on. Immeasurable compassion. Reinforce visualizing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us, so loving, caring, embracing, and also reinforce visualization of your two grandparents, all of family members, your children, and all dear sentient beings living alongside, including the tiny insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, human beings, everyone with you. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude and their respective offshoots. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment, the intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to ascend from nectar very soothing lights to us, you the ultimate sentient beings. They mere touch of lights and nectars with the body speaks of yours, who washes over all the miseries and the cause of the miseries from you and from all the dear sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miraculous happening towards all the dear sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sound with relief. Next, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Cause of happiness primarily consisting of the unconditional love of the Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind in the universe, and the most fearless mind that possibly exists in this universe, the wisdom of emptiness. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to ascend from next to soothing lights to rest you and all dear sentient beings. Their mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies of beings yours, instills in all happiness and causes happiness within you and within all the dim sentient beings. And you're witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the dim sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sound the relief. Underscoring those 2 immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all dim sentient beings. Imagine that it's just abundance experience of the unconditional love towards all the beings. Imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings to the extent, with so much love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. Okay, with this unconditional love, with folded hands, I'll make a line of Bodhicitta commitment and we'll let us all say this 3 times together wholeheartedly to the best you can. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear Mother sentient beings. Just try to feel this as much as possible. It can be superficial, it doesn't matter. Just try to feel this. And this most beautiful mind that possibly exists in this whole universe, this most appealing mind, most beautiful mind. And today, you generated it. Be it superficial, it doesn't matter. And today, you have planted the seed of the most beautiful mind in your being, so precious. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta into a spotless green white moon disk, 2 inches or 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting at your heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of human beings. That's amazing. But let's not forget that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil come out of it. How can you say that you can become a Buddha? Yes, that's true. I'm not like a handful of sand. Instead, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds. I have the Buddha nature within me, the seed of perfection within me, this ultimate treasure within me. If that is the case, why not that you become Buddha since time immemorial to today? Why not? Yes, till today, I'm being absolutely deceived by the 2 demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. And today I'm disillusioned by the 2 demons. Henceforth, I will engage in every effort to exterminate these 2 demons. How will you do that? But it's sort into a very powerful remedy. What kind of remedy? The remedy of the wisdom of emptiness, non-dual wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom? Okay, let us quickly review the experience of the 3rd seal which we meditated, that everything is like a dream. There's nothing objectively there. Imagine that you wake up from the unconventional dream to discover that all what you've experienced in this unconventional dream, they're all just mental projection. The moment you realize this, all your fears dissolve. And the more you practice this, even the subtle stains of mind dissolve. When this Buddha nature become manifest fully, it's all because of this awakening to discover that nothing exists objectively. Stay in this experience. Imagine that nothing exists objectively, it's just like a dream. The emptiness of objective existence, non-affirming, negative, the isolate of the non-affirming negative of the empty subjective existence of all phenomena. Slowly transform this incredibly fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the Montesquieu heart. That's amazing. Now you have the moon, symbolic of the conventional Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind in the universe, to exterminate the self-centered attitude. And a Vajra, symbolic of the ultimate Bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas, guaranteeing that all the mental stains, be the afflictive obscurations or the cognitive obscurations, are all going to be exterminated, and that your true nature inside is going to be discovered, fully unraveled, fully, that you become the full enlightened being, to experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness, thereby embracing all other dimensional beings to protect them from all fears of life. It's amazing. There was so much love and affection towards all the beings. Imagine that, this intense love that you feel towards all the dimensional beings. Invoke the Vajramuni in your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one share one set of the Vajramun with your mother at her heart, one set with your father at his heart, one set with each one of your family members, including children, one with each of the sentient beings here in Thosamling, nunnery, and the institute, the human beings, the animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, the snakes, and one with each of the sentient beings in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Now everyone has to share the Vajramun, which you have so kindly shared with them. This guarantees that all of them are going to also experience total fearlessness in infinite happiness. Okay, just imagine that Bodhisattvas, they're watching us, they're so happy, and they have the Vajramun in full-fledged form, and their kindness, affection, compassion towards us invoke the Vajramun at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. Like a rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that is visualized at your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, like rain shower, all these Vajramun from the house of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that is visualized at the heart of mother, at the heart of father, and out of each of the family members, including children, with each of the sentient beings here in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Thereby blessing, becoming non-dual and stabilized of the Vajramun that we've shared with all the sentient beings. Okay, feel the joy of having practiced this, the two Bodhicittas. Okay, slowly come out of this practice, come out, and we'll wind this up with the dedication prayer. Page 52. As President Buddha said about tomorrow, I think tomorrow we can take it tomorrow. Today we do not take the vow because of constraint of time. Okay, page 52. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all life, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom-eyes blinded with ignorance. Yata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate gate bodhi swatyatha. Om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swatyatha. Om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swatyatha. Om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swaha. Okay, 3 processions together.